Now, we're going to focus on a sector that is buzzing in trade today, and that's the nifty oil and gas index, and it's up 1.67% in trade right now. And it's hit a life, high in today's day of trade. It's over the 13,000 mark. And when you talk about the counters that have been buzzing, we have the top nifty oil and gas gainer, which is ONGC, which we will get to towards the end of the segment. But we have several gas stocks that have been buzzing in trade. You have the likes of Petronet LNG, you have Castrol, GAIL, Mahanagar Gas, Gujarat State Petronet, all up over 2% in trade today. And this is mainly on certain media reports of the government initiating the process to bring natural gas and ATF, which is aviation turbine fuel, under the GST regime. Now, currently, natural gas, ATF, or petrol, none of these commodities are under the purview of the GST system and are under the value-added tax system, which is different in different states. Now, media reports have suggested that the Finance Minister is holding meetings with the Oil Ministry, and the Oil Ministry will be presenting presentations to the Finance Ministry on the impact of this certain inclusion. And just to note that currently the VAT on natural gas, depending on the states, ranges from 14 to 24%. The VAT on aviation turbine fuel, which is the fuel used for airplanes, ranges from 5 to 18%. And the government also charges a basic excise duty on ATF at 11%. And additionally, there are also various cess charges that the government does levy on these commodities. But when we talk about natural gas GST inclusion, Varsha, I want to ask you, maybe give us some more details about the total inclusion and what states could have an impact.
Well, yes, Mihika, so if you see, there was this Jeffries note just before, talking about the states. If you see the VAT on natural gas, a total approximately 20,000 crores in FY23. Also, now assuming this is under GST, this could actually lower natural gas cost by $0.9 per metric million British thermal unit, improving its competitiveness to naphtha and fuel oil. Now, the brokerage expects gas companies to pass most of these savings to consumer, aligning with the government GST objectives. Now, coming to the states, if you see, Jeffries did point out that Andhra Pradesh, Gujarat, Uttar Pradesh and Rajasthan are the most major beneficiaries of VAT on natural gas, and with the first three governed by NDA, could bolster prospects for a breakthrough in discussions. Also, if you see, CNG companies would see limited in benefit, as all the benefits will be passed on to the consumers. And Amika, we do have counters like GAIL and Gujarat Gas, which may benefit according to Jeffries.
Yes, I'm glad you mentioned certain counters, because that's what I want to talk about next. And I want to come to you, Puneet. I want to talk about the key beneficiaries when you talk about companies in the listed space, in the natural gas value chain, and in what way and how do these companies benefit given the inclusion of natural gas under the GST regime?
Yeah, definitely. I think Morgan Stanley is one of the most bullish ones on this particular space after Jeffries. And if you look at it, they have mentioned that this particular move will significantly bolster and benefit the natural gas sector as well as the value chain from lower taxes. It also offers a lot of advantages to various stakeholders which are part of this particular sector and industry as well. Now, of course, one of the key upside will be the faster adoption of gas in this particular through other sources as well. They have mentioned that Morgan Stanley has identified that exploration as well as the production firms, specifically the likes of ONGC as well as Oil India, will also be likely beneficiaries under if this move is supposed to happen. They have seen that they might, at that time they had seen a 5% upside on ONGC, but post that in the last month we've seen a 16% rally in ONGC. We've seen a 35% rally in the past 1 month in Oil India as well. So definitely, market has really taken these particular media reports very positively, effectively as well. Now, they are also optimistic on both these stocks, anticipated operational efficiency as well as cost reduction if they both come under the GST regime as well. Currently, when you look at the other stock that might be a beneficiary, will be IGL and Gujarat Gas that Jeffries also mentioned. They are expecting a volume upside for both these players as natural gas becomes more favorable and an alternate fuel as well. Currently, higher gas consumption as well as lower import costs will benefit other players such as GAIL as well as Petronet LNG.
Yes, thank you, Puneet. Maybe that's why, as you said, Morgan Stanley said that the oil exploration production companies could also be one of the biggest beneficiaries, and that's why we're seeing gains of over 4% in ONG today. But we also had Mahanagar Gas's management, speak about this inclusion in an analyst meet recently. Rucha, what did they say in the analyst meet?
So basically talking about what management of Mahanagar Gas ideally mentioned about is that any savings could be passed on to the consumers, and they also mentioned that they expect the city gas distribution network, those could benefit from a say 12% slab rate if such kind of slab rate is fixed, but benefits will ideally be lower if a 18% tax bracket is fixed for the company. Now the industrials and commercial customers could also get GST input tax credit on the gas. So input tax credit is basically the credit which you can use to offset the tax which you pay on the gas consumption. Now talking about Kotak's view, the brokerage house believes that this could be positive for the sector. However, benefits are kind of moderate. Now for Mahanagar Gas in particular, the brokerage house noted that the local VAT rates have been reduced from 13.5% earlier to around 3%, and therefore the benefits are largely behind us. Now the government is also not like a large now the government will not like a large revenue impact, since a few states like Gujarat would need to be compensated, and this would likely take off all the benefits from the kind of implementation that the government wants. Now it also expect the gas rate, the GST on the gas to be around 12% or around 18%. So this is what Kotak ideally also has.
Yeah, I'd like to, end that, you mentioned the 12 and 18% potential gas rate. What Kotak has also mentioned that, expecting an 18% GST rate, it expects a 2 to 4% CNG price reduction for consumers in Delhi and Mumbai, while at a 12% GST rate, this cut could even go to 7 to 9% for the CNG prices in Delhi and Mumbai, and they expect benefits from the 7 to 9% price reduction to be a short-term positive for the gas stocks, and believe that the price reduction benefits could be offset given that city gas distributions do have higher gas procurement costs due to the low APM gas allocation. Well, that was the entire view on the natural gas space and why the sector has been buzzing